Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Hello, everyone. This is Guy from Jewelry Store Marketers, and we are here at the RJO Philly show, and it's amazing. And today we have our special guest, Brittany Jones of JF Jones in Grace, New York.
Correct.
Okay. And I was so happy to hear that you've been to a few of my webinars.
Love them.
And you are you very good student. Thank you, Frankie. And so tell us about your store.
So I'm third generation, born and raised in the business, officially 19 years. Just finished my GG last week.
Nice, congrats.
We're celebrating 95 years in business this year. And we just do a little bit of everything, focusing on bridal and custom.
Wow. Okay. So how has the store changed throughout the years? How long have you been involved?
19 years.
19 years. And so throughout the years, have there been any major changes?
So I implemented our point of sale system and inventoried everything and launched our website.
Got it.
Brought it into the 21st century.
Right. So there's would you classify yourself as a small store?
Yes.
Okay.
Small
and
business.
you mentioned
Three
it was
employees.
3 employees, right? So you guys do everything.
Mm-hmm.
You guys place the orders, you deal with customers, and you have full service, right?
Yes, we have an in-house goldsmith. We do
Wow.
watch batteries, little repairs like that.
Right. And what I was really impressed with is how much you knew about your business, like the marketing and everything. There's a lot to know. Technology, there's so much in technology.
And it's always changing.
It's always changing, but I was very impressed on how much you know, or you really keep up with it. You've been to a couple of my webinars, and now, so how has that benefited you to have access to free resources that is available?
Knowledge is power. Any education I can get, I will take, especially if it's free.
Perfect.
But just always trying to improve and keep a leg up on my competitor.
Right. And I think I've definitely talked to a lot of jewelers, and not most of them don't take advantage of all the things. You know, vendors offer graphic assets and things and help on their your website, and all these webinars and so forth.
I'm particular with the vendors that I do choose, only ones that have websites with B2B access so that I can gain access to images for my website, check current prices when I'm with the customer, and ones that provide me with social media material.
Right.
Because
right.
I don't have time to take all my own pictures, so I have a bank going.
Right. And I think, and I, you know, occasionally we talk to new clients, and I said, okay, well, are you using any of the vendor provided assets? And most of the time it's no. And for you, is that, how much of a time saver? How much, you know?
It saves me a lot of time. I go on to all my vendors' Facebook and Instagram accounts every Monday. My stores close on Mondays. So that's when I do my social media planning for the week, and I schedule all my posts. But I also follow a lot of my competitors and other people all around and take screenshots, you know, while I'm watching TV at home to get inspiration. And I have a folder on my computer of inspiration, and I try and duplicate, replicate,
right.
Put my own twist on it.
Right. So for all of that, like the education and all those different things, you have a tip for people that say they don't do it. They're not really taking advantage. Is there anything that you can?
Don't be scared to try it. Knowledge, again, is the best thing that you can do. And if there's good information, see what works. Try it. It can't hurt.
Right. I was impressed on how involved or how knowledgeable you were with your website as well. What do you think? I'm not going to answer this because I'm a little biased. But what does your website do for you?
Generates leads, and nobody comes into your store anymore They want to look you up on the website first, decide if it's worth their time to get out of bed, put on their clothes, and come in.
Right.
So I think it's really important to have a good online presence and have people have an idea of what it's all about, not just your prices, but the culture and the atmosphere.
Right. Yes, exactly.
It's all about the vibe.
Yep, there's some jewelers, not just jewelers. There's some business owners that don't focus on their website, or And actually, the webinar the other day, there was some pretty old. I looked up the websites, and there's some pretty old ones. And right, it's you seem to. It looks like you're handling a lot of things that can really help your business. What else helps your business? You mentioned inventory management. Did you implement Edge or something like that?
I have Diamond Counter, which is same idea, just a little bit different.
Right.
We got it in 2010. It took us 3 years to input all of our inventory and photograph it.
Sure.
But it really helps to be able to run reports. And sometimes what you think is selling and what really is selling are different.
Yep.
And it's important to see with your GM ROI which price points are really working, so you know what to stock. Right.
You mentioned earlier when you sat down earlier, you have a high closing rate when it comes to your engagement ring appointments. Mm-hmm. Why is that?
I think I have a really good variety of styles and prices. I focus on the basics for my in-stock items, but then I have a good diverse supply of samples for when people want to go more custom. And I also have counter sketch, so I never have to say no to anyone. If you want it, we can make it. And we have really good reviews. That's how we get most of our new customers. And I prepare them on my website with all the information, what to expect at your appointment, what's going to happen, how everything works, and I usually get a deposit at the appointment.
Right, that's great. So I hear that you are really paying attention to a lot of different aspects, the web, your inventory, and so forth. What about the physical store? I mean, how do you constantly work at improving that as well?
So displays have been a priority for me over the years. Back in the day, my parents would just throw whatever free vendor display you could get in there.
Got it. Yeah.
Because who wanted to allocate money towards displays?
Yeah.
But since COVID, I've really focused on new displays and making sure everything had a price on it, so that no one was afraid to ask.
Right.
And it's very easy when you display everything in a good, better, best. People will almost always buy the middle item.
Got it. Do you, is that in one case, or are you talking like front, middle, back, or?
No, so each case is programmized. Everything I have, gold chains, diamond studs, wedding bands.
How did you learn that? Was some of the seminars, or did trial and error? Or?
Yep, Larry from
Yeah.
with Box Brokers. I have his Smart Pro.
Yeah.
I love it. I've taken his seminars, quite a few over the years. And it really makes it so simple.
Right. And do you start when you're pitching? You start with the high end, and
I always start with the middle.
Got it.
And then people will ask to see either the lower or the higher, and that gives you an idea of their budget, and you don't have to ask.
Right. Perfect. I might go to the area where it's for some it could be a very passionate conversation. I'm curious to know your stance on lab-grown diamonds.
I knew that's what you were going to ask. I sell them.
Yep.
I have a really nice disclosure form that I make all my customers sign when they buy it. It was provided by RJO. It's available on the website.
Nice.
I'm not scared of them, and if I can make great margins, why not? I'm just very transparent and upfront with my customers that you're buying technology, the price is constantly going down, but my customers that are buying them are buying 1.5, 2, 3 carats. It's not something you need to upgrade later on.
Right.
I keep them in my safe, hidden. If somebody asks, I'll bring them out. I'd much prefer to sell a natural diamond or a natural gemstone, but I'd never want to lose a customer.
Exactly.
And I'd much rather sell a high-quality lab-grown diamond than a low-quality natural diamond that I'm not proud to put my family's name on.
The way you said it is one of the more concise ways I've heard you say, heard people talk. You're buying technology, and I think that lets people. I mean, people understand like technology is like the way it changes so fast. I've heard a lot of people talk about how they sell lab grown, and we've had the topic come up on the podcast a few times, and that's good because you don't want to want to lose a sale,
Right.
and again the philosophy is why you don't want to give them a low quality diamond that they're maybe not going to be happy with, and maybe they're going to be looking to upgrade, improve it, but you talk to them about a lab grown diamond that looks great, and 2-3 carats, they're going to be happy with that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good philosophy there. I think a lot of success comes down to mindset and your philosophy on how you handle the business, and I certainly see it with you. You are you got it organized, you got it, you're passionate about making it better, and I really appreciate you sharing how your views on the store and so forth. What's your I don't know, the biggest tip that you would give to a jeweler looking to improve their business?
It's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
But I would say optimizing inventory. Get rid of that old stuff. Listen to David Geller. And don't be afraid to charge fairly for your repairs as well. Your repair shop needs to be profitable.
If
it pays the rent.
With that old inventory that's sitting around, how have you moved that? Did you do clearance events? Or?
Yep. So since COVID, a lot of sales clearance, but also working with other RJO retailers, trades. What might not sell in upstate New York for me might sell great for somebody in a small town.
Got it. What about events? Do you do RJO?
If you are still on the RJO buying floor, please come to the RJO.
We are live on the RJO selling floor.
Please come to the RJO registration desk at your earliest convenience.
I hope they find them. Do you do events in the store? And
Yes.
What's your philosophy on events?
Yes, I love events. I would love to do one a month, but I just don't have the time or.
Right.
But we do a buying event 3 times a year where my customers bring in items to sell. With lab grown diamonds, I'm a little more gun shy to be buying over the counter.
Yep.
Also, you have a lot of people coming in with unrealistic expectations of selling their engagement ring. I don't have to be the bad guy, somebody else can do it.
Yeah.
But then I also do a wedding ring showcase twice a year. I partner with a vendor, and the salesperson comes, brings all their samples, and that way my customers have access to 1 million wedding bands. When they have a funky engagement ring, maybe it's not for me and they need something to match up to, they have a lot more options.
Yeah.
And then I do a custom design event as well that I'm looking to do more of.
That's great. I know there's some jewelers that do the big events, once or twice a year, and events are really a great way to, have some activity, something to get excited about, promote, talk to customers about. So I think they're always great, so, wow, congratulations. What's next?
Thank you.
What's on the horizon for your store, for you?
Well, getting to 100 years has always been the
So
goal.
5 more years?
5 more years.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, and of course, many more.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, I just finished my GG, so next up is appraisal school. I've been doing some networking here to find out which classes are the best. But really just selling more engagement rings, and I want to be your jeweler, I want
Perfect.
everyone to say, where'd you get that ring?
I want to be your jeweler.
Yep.
That's great. Well, fantastic. Well, I think your story is inspirational. I think a lot of jewelers would love to hear it, and I'm sure, a lot of RJO people know you, but it's great to share beyond that, and certainly appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. that was Brittany Jones from JF Jones Jewelers. And this has been another podcast, the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.